This is going to be a very, very quick look at the Nissan Rogue Rock Creek. This is yet another trim level for the Nissan Rogue, Nissan's most important model here for the United States, and they are entering it into the ever-competitive class of somewhat capable mid-size CUV off-roaders. This joins things like the CX50 Meridian, the RAV4 TRD, Subaru's various offerings, along with basically every other OEM. People like this class of vehicle because people like camping, going off-roading, going hiking, and honestly, I'm gonna be generous. This is at best a very mild off-road / appearance package. So what have they done? Well, you have a unique front fascia, which looks more like the Pathfinder front end, and they also have a Rock Creek model for that. You get some Rock Creek badges throughout the exterior and interior with some orange accents. You get faux beadlock style 17-inch wheels with 235/65/17 off-road all-terrain tires. They have not touched skid plates. This does not have any additional armor. They've not given this thing a lift, and from my understanding, they haven't even retuned the suspension. It still maintains the same approach and departure angle and ground clearance of the regular Nissan Rogue, which means it has about 8.2 inches of ground clearance. It still tows about 1,500 pounds, and it's still powered by the lovely 1.5 liter 3-cylinder turbocharged variable compression engine. It makes about 200 horsepower, puts its power down through a CVT complete with simulated shifts, and the all-wheel drive system is an on-demand setup. They have given this hill descent control, which is using basically the brakes and the throttle to maintain easy descent. Basically, you can take your foot off the brake and it'll control your downward momentum when you're off-roading this vehicle, and they've added a more focused off-road camera. Past that though, this is the same Nissan Rogue you love on the interior side of things. It means it's got good headroom, reasonably comfortable seats. They've not screwed up the interior, which means you have physical controls, good storage. The back seats fold down with the rear seats up. It's like mid-30s, fairly class competitive when it comes to cargo capacity, like 34, 35 cubic feet of cargo capacity. Rear seats down is about 74. Nissan honestly has done a pretty good job with the interior space, and I do think from a styling side of things, they've also done a good job. Yes, there are problems with this engine. Yes, Nissan's history with the CVT is not great. And yes, this is a very, very, very competitive class of vehicle. So with that, let's go take this for a quick drive on our favorite roads. Mark, we're about to set off in the Honda Rogue Trail Sport.
Take me to Salt Creek.
I like my shifts continuously variable, Mark.
Me too.
As the door rattles next to me as we hit some truly impressive speeds in our Nissan Rogue. All right.
The most owners will be going a lot faster.
Oh yeah, I mean, I lack the big Ultima energy required to make some truly, truly impressive moves behind the wheel. All right, this is going to be a brief video. We've already talked about the Rogue. How do you feel about this thing? You've spent more time in this thing than I have. Would you buy this, a CRV or a RAV4?
Well, really, the difference between the regular Rogue and this is the
oh, look, it's for me.
The Rock Creek package, which, you know, the whole thing is if you're up shit creek without a paddle, this is going to get you through. With these all-terrain tires, it definitely is softer.
Yes.
I will say that if you want a cushier, a little bit more compliant ride in that off-road look, or whatever you want to call it, the trail look, I think that's what this is designed to do.
Yeah, it's that faux off-roader.
Yeah. And I mean, the thing is everybody's doing this, right? Like, they've just literally tacked on a badge to make you feel like, okay, I wanted a Jeep, but I couldn't get a Jeep thing, so now I got a Rogue thing. And
I couldn't get a Subaru.
Yeah, I couldn't get a Subaru. I mean, there's nothing wrong with the Rogue. This generation Rogue is the best thing they've ever done in terms of this. It still has the pros and the cons of a regular Rogue, just with that kind of different look to it. I mean, essentially, that's it. I mean, I don't know what else to say about it. I enjoy driving the more affordable Nissan products. I don't know why. I just like how easy everything is.
You're a Nissan, because you knew the Honda Nissan merger was coming.
Yeah,
and you're a Honda man, so you're like, I gotta love
years
Nissan
ago.
now.
So now, you know, I mean, this is an incredible car, one of the best. Seriously, if you're looking for this and you see Assault Creek on the lot, you know, there's no reason not to get it. I mean, is it cost more? I guess that's the thing. I didn't even check the price.
It starts in the mid-30s and like everything, and it can end up in the low 40s.
In the low 70s.
Yeah, low 70s. Well, if you take Nissan up on their award-winning financing rates of like 30% APR at 144 months, this could be a $70,000 Rogue if you wanted it to be.
I guess, good point. What do you think? I mean, seriously though, you know, okay, let's just cover what it does good and bad briefly.
It's soft. That's good.
How are the inputs?
Not great.
Okay.
The throttle mapping and the CVT, right? We have a long-term CX50, so that to me is always the benchmark of the way SUVs drive.
Other than
the ride quality is bad.
Yeah.
The CX50 drives better in every capacity than this does, other than it doesn't ride as well. Okay. This is just a soft boat. The problem is the CRV is a soft boat. Yeah, and the CRV drives better.
This becomes the problem. I mean, if I'm going to get a Honda, I'm going to get a real Honda, and I'm going to get a CRV, I'm going to get an HRV, I'm going to get a Pilot, I'm going to get a Passport, and I'm going to have all those.
You're the one who tells me this all the time, right? All cars are the same now.
Yeah, no.
All cars feel the same. So and particularly in this class, this is the most important class that exists for like every automotive manufacturer. The medium-sized two-row CUV. And the way you stand out is you have to do something exceptionally. The RAV4 is a total appliance, not a great car to drive, but you buy it because it'll live forever.
Yeah, and it's going to live forever, and it's going to hold its value very well for what it is.
The CX50, you drive because
you like to drive.
You like to drive, and the same thing can be said about the Tiguan. So you're left with trying to distinguish yourself, and this just doesn't. And that is the problem that Nissan has.
I mean, it doesn't do anything wrong.
No, it does
other
not.
than kind of some of the CVT stuff, and it's a little noisy.
And the VC, this variable compression 1.5 liter.
Yeah, okay. Well,
it's got some problems.
Yeah, I think that's what we talked about in the original Rogue. Is like, you know, if you have all these choices, are you really going to choose this? And I think the straight answer is, as much as I like the overall package of this, I wouldn't be choosing it as an appliance that I need to keep for a long time.
It's not cheap like the Equinox is. Right. It's not known quantity reliable like the RAV4. It's not as efficient as a CRV hybrid. So you're left in like this, why do I buy it?
Yeah, sorry, I got to take this call.
With that, Mark, let's head into final thoughts.
Terry? Get my supper ready, I said! Final thoughts on the Nissan Rogue Rock Creek. And now that I've got my dinner, I'm ready to talk about this philosophically. And here it is. You got to look at this a couple different ways. If you're just an average consumer, you know nothing about cars or SUVs, and you stumble into a Nissan dealership and you see this thing heavily discounted and you get financing for it, you'll probably be pretty happy with it because it's pretty much average. There's nothing wrong with it. But here's the problem, right? Every other brand is doing the same thing. All of these vehicles are absolute copy and paste jobs. They exist purely because the marketing is telling them that the dealerships and their customers say, I want to reconnect with nature. I want to be outdoorsy, which you could do in basically any vehicle on the planet if you're just going on loose gravel and some dirt. You don't need an adventure off-roader SUV to do it. So I feel like this vehicle, like many other brands, is just pandering to that, which is creating a market that is absolutely flooded with these things. They are a dime a dozen. They are just churned out so effortlessly and so soullessly that, you know, you're spending $30,000, $40,000 and they're all the same. So I feel like, you know, this is just another one out there, and you can pick a name out of the hat and you're pretty much going to get the same thing. But if you're buying this, you're probably not, you don't have a ton of disposable income. So for me, I'm looking at this like, do you want to have something that is just kind of there to fill a spot, or do you want something that's going to hold its value better, that's going to have known reliability, and the brand has more cachet for stability at this point in time? And I'm, you know, again, this is looking at it from a very frugal standpoint, and that's why this vehicle to me is something that I would probably pass on, despite it being pretty decent overall. But I'm going to leave it at that. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next video.